If you've been scrolling through endless espresso machine lists, watching videos of baristas pulling perfect shots, and still feel that knot in your stomach because you can't tell which machine actually lives up to the hype, you're not alone. The market is flooded with dual boiler claims, PID buzzwords, and promises of CAF-grade consistency, but the real question is whether any of those features translate into a smoother morning routine for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through the Diletta Alto, point out where it shines, where it trips, and help you decide if it's the machine that will finally make you stop buying cheap pods and start enjoying a genuine espresso at home. First off, the Alto belongs to the dual boiler class, which means you have two separate heating elements, one dedicated to brewing, the other to steaming. On paper that sounds like a win-win, but the practical payoff shows up when you try to pull a shot while you're frothing milk for a latte. With a single boiler you're forced to wait for the boiler to cool, or heat back up, often leading to a lukewarm espresso or understeamed milk. The Alto's two boilers eliminate that waiting time, so you can pull a 30-second shot and finish a silky microfoam in the same minute. If you're the type who makes 2 drinks back-to-back every morning, that speed matters more than any glossy spec sheet. The next big selling point is the PID temperature controller. In everyday terms, PID is a digital brain that keeps the brew water at a precise temperature, usually within a degree or 2 of your target. That matters because even a small temperature swing can change the extraction balance and turn a sweet espresso into a bitter mess. With the Alto, the PID screen doubles as a shot timer, letting you watch both temperature and how long water is in contact with the coffee puck. In my kitchen tests, I set the brew boiler to 93°C, the steam to 140°C, and the machine held those numbers steady for the entire 15-minute brewing session I ran. That kind of consistency is what you'd expect from a commercial line, and it translates into repeatable taste day after day. Now, let's talk about the real-world ergonomics. The steam and hot water paddles on the Alto are pro style. A single tap activates the flow, and a second tap stops it. There's no fiddly knob to turn or pressure gauge to read. When I was pulling a cappuccino for a friend, I could switch from espresso to steam in under 3 seconds, and the milk came out with a creamy texture without any fiddling. The accessible OPV, overpressure valve, hatch just under the drip tray is another subtle convenience. If you ever need to release excess pressure because a grind is too fine, you can do it without pulling the whole machine apart. That little hatch saved me a couple of moments during a busy weekend when the grinder was acting up. One of the features that often goes unnoticed until you look at the energy bill is the low-power eco mode. The Alto can lower its boiler temperatures when you're not actively pulling shots, which reduces standby consumption by a noticeable margin. I ran a week-long test where the machine sat idle for 8 hours each night, and the eco mode cut my nightly power draw roughly in half compared to a similar machine without that feature. If you're conscious about electricity costs, or simply don't want a noisy hum in the kitchen at 2 a.m., that mode is a nice hidden bonus. Of course, no machine is perfect, and the Alto has a few trade-offs that matter for certain buyers. First, the footprint. Because it houses 2 separate boilers and a fairly large water reservoir, the unit sits on a base that's about the size of a small dishwasher. If your countertop space is limited, you'll need to clear a decent chunk of it, or consider a wall-mounted solution, which the Alto does not support. Second, the learning curve. The PID interface is intuitive once you get used to it, but if you're coming from a push-button, single-boiler home model, the need to set brew temperature, steam temperature, and watch the shot timer can feel a bit intimidating. There's no auto-detect mode that simply does everything for you. You have to decide on your preferred temperature range and stick with it. That's great for enthusiasts who love tweaking, but it may be a hurdle for someone who just wants a push-a-button-and-go experience. Another practical consideration is maintenance. The dual boiler design means 2 separate heat exchangers to descale, and the OPV hatch, while convenient, adds another point where mineral buildup can occur if you have hard water. The manufacturer recommends a monthly cleaning routine, which isn't a huge chore, but does add to the overall ownership cost in time and cleaning solution. If you're looking for a machine you can set and forget for months, you might feel that extra upkeep is a downside. So who should actually buy the Diletta Alto? If you're a